I'm Jason Braswell. I'm here with Watkins Award finalist Tony Brown out of Beaumont, Texas. How you doing today, man?
I'm doing good.
All right, just a couple questions for you. I know they asked you a lot of questions out here, but I just want to know, outside of football, who's the biggest inspiration in your life?
My parents. Biggest inspiration would definitely be my parents. If I hadn't had them every day pushing me with the days when I didn't want to work, the days when you get up in the morning, you're like, why are you doing this? If I hadn't had them right there, I don't think I would have been right here on where I'm at right now.
And being you're already in school at Alabama, how's that going for you?
It's going good right now. I mean, it's a process. I'm doing a lot of track right now. We're starting to do a couple of the football meetings, so I'm going to that. So, I'm taking it day by day, going to classes day by day, tutoring day by day. So I'm not thinking about the future. I'm living in it now. So, and it's making it a lot easier for me.
So you're a two-sport athlete, football and track. What made you go lean football?
I'm not leaning football. Actually, I go to Alabama, I run track and play football for Bama. So, I mean, as far as the question goes, I'm not leaning towards football right now. I love both sports. I played both sports my whole life. So, yes, sir.
All right. So let me ask you a question. If you did have to choose one, what would you choose?
I couldn't even choose just because. You start off running track because you can't play tackle football at first, and then when I started playing tackle football, I love that. So I mean, those are the three loves of my life. My mother, track and football. So I mean, you can't choose out of the things you love.
And learning a little bit about you, I know you're a defensive back. So in the NFL, who do you look up to?
I mean, I feel like every defensive back looks up to Deion. So I mean, I definitely look up to Deion. Yeah, his game, his swagger, and I try to take that to my game.
All right, well, we appreciate your time here with Robert Okereke here at the Watkins Awards finalist. He's a Stanford commit, so just explain to us a little bit just about your decision. What made you want to go to Stanford? I know you already answered the question, but just for us here on the record, what made you want to decide to go to Stanford?
Personally, I found Stanford University to be the best combination of academics and athletics in the nation, and the main thing was academics. It was tough for me to find a reason to pass up a Stanford degree, and I love Coach Shaw. I just felt real comfortable there, and so when I got the offer, it was an automatic fit.
Okay, and outside of Stanford, what other offers did you receive?
The main ones I was considering was USC, Cal Berkeley, Northwestern, and Vanderbilt.
And on the field, what position do you play?
Outside and inside linebacker.
And playing those
positions,
who do you most look up to in the NFL?
Ray Rice is a linebacker. He's a great guy, but I mean, definitely Ray Rice. Definitely Ray Rice.
Okay. And I know you said academics was a big part of your decision, and I understand that as being a collegiate, athlete myself. Just explain to us just a little bit about, the community you're in, and like he said, the role model that you plan to be, going forward in your career. So I guess my question would be, just explain to us a little bit about being a role model in your community.
Well, the main thing I've found is you play college football, most people are done after 4 years, or you go to the NFL, average 2 years, you're going to be done at some point. The money's going to be gone, so what are you going to do after that? You got to have a degree, you got to do something. So I'm just trying to show little kids that, hey, it's cool to be smart and to be a good athlete. It's cool to be a good citizen. So all that stuff, I'm trying to package myself up, good advertisement, and honestly just be a good role model for the next generation.
All right, well, that's all the time we have right now.
I'm here with Navya Carmichael. We're here at the Watkins Awards event. Congratulations on being a finalist.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate it.
All right, we just had a long press conference, so there's not too many things we have left to ask you, but you are committed to Duke, correct?
Yes, sir, I am.
Why Duke? Especially, it's kind of weird hearing that when you're not a basketball player.
Yes, sir, you are right. Usually Duke is considered a basketball school, but slowly but surely, as you can see this year, they become a football school, and that's one of the reasons I went there. I want to go somewhere I can change. I can feel like I'm needed. And so Duke is on the upcoming, and I feel like they need me. The coach told me they need me on defense, so I'm really looking forward to that. And Duke is a great academic. Of course, having a degree can get you in a lot of places really quick. And so going to Duke, if I want to, become an orthopedic surgeon. That's the best place for me to go to. And also my major, biomedical engineering. They're the top in the country in biomedical engineering. So once you carry all that in, Duke is the best place for me to go to.
All right, well, I definitely agree. I do think they need your help on defense.
Yes,
I was happy they had a remarkable year last year,
yes,
which was great, putting themselves on the map. One of the things I loved were you talking about, that being your major, wanting to be able to, just in case you don't make it to the pros, you're able to still be around the sport, which I do love. But my last question for you was both in athletics And then off the field, two-part question, who do you look up to in terms of inspiration in both?
Well, I would say on the field, definitely if not my favorite, one of my most favorite players was Ray Lewis. The way he just took control of the game and how he dominated every series he was on the field. It's someone who I looked up to. I watched him last year in the Super Bowl when how he went out. It's just you can't go no better way than retiring. So on the field, he's definitely one of my idols. And off the field, my mom would tell you this: that Frederick Douglass. She always called me little Frederick Douglass. So I kind of took part of the name and him being who he was and currently all the adventures he did, and being such a smart African American man as he freed himself from slavery, all that good stuff. I just feel like if he could do it back then, why can't I do the stuff I can do now in this time of age? So that's one of my idols. I hope I can just make both of them proud.
Well, I think you have. You're well on your way.
Thank
Being
you.
a Watkins Award finalist, you're doing a great job on and off the field. So.
Appreciate it. Thank
Sitting here with Richard Yergin III at the Watkins Awards, one of the finalists. We just had a long press conference, so there's not too much left for me to ask you. But as a Clemson commit, we're just talking about Sammy and Taj. But heading into Clemson, what is your major goal? I know, being here, obviously academics is just as important as on the field. But could you give me, what you think? Obviously your goal on field and then off the field.
My goal on the field is to play right away as a freshman, whether that be to start or to get serious reps or just get experience. My goal off the field is to be an academic All-American my first year, and gain access to the network around me, and not just the network on the field, and just be known for a football player, but also be known as an intelligent young black athlete.
All right, speaking about that, I think that's one of the biggest reasons I'm happy that we're here, especially that you guys are here. But that stereotypical mindset for what we are as black men, and especially your generation, a little younger than me, what are you anxious to change about that?
What I'm anxious to change about that is the whole idea that you're limited to just getting an athletic scholarship. I believe that if you put forth the work and the effort and just as hard as you do on the field in the classroom, there's no reason why you shouldn't have to just depend on an athletic scholarship. You should be able to have the tides and the will to get an academic scholarship. And that's what a lot of people in our race is failing to realize, is that athletics isn't the only way to go.
Well, I think you and your brothers are certainly on the way to changing that, and I commend you all on that. But lastly, just with going to Clemson, we're talking about the NFL and everything else. Who is someone you look up to in terms of athletics and football, and then someone off the field as well?
Someone that I look up to off the field is Dr. Martin Luther King. Reason being, he's a black historical figure that stood for everything that a young black man in our time and era, and any time the era to come, should stand for. He stood for rights, equality, and peace. And I think that's what we need in our society, and we need to reiterate that. On the field, I have many role models. I don't just look up to one specific guy, but it's been a blessing to sit back and watch a lot of these guys and how their careers have taken a good turn, and now how mine is shaping up to be somewhat similar to theirs.
Well, Mr. Yergin, again, we're going to definitely keep your eyes on you, my mind on sports, and just in life in general. Wish you the best and good luck tonight. All right, we're here with Christopher Register, another one of the finalists here at the Watkins Awards. First, I want to commend you on being a finalist, and then you guys had a lengthy press conference, not too many questions, left out there.
First time for all this. I've never done anything like this before, so everything right now is a first for me.
Even like the interviews post game, number one rated linebacker.
That's one-on-one, that's different. I'm here talking in front of a whole bunch of people. This is, this is a start for me.
You handled yourself pretty well, so.
I try to.
So there's something else you get to go back and tell everybody about.
Yeah, I just be myself. That's what helps me get through. I just be myself.
See, that's the thing. For a lot of people, that's enough. A lot of people aren't brave enough to just be themselves. But you're here in DC. You're obviously for a great reason for what you do on and off the field. Want to know if you can give me somebody you look up to both on and off the field.
Somebody I look up to. Well, does he have to be both?
Yeah, one or the other. It can't if the answer.
One person have to be on the field and off.
No, if they are, that's good, but they don't have to.
Well, on the field, I look up to Patrick Willis because he's just like, he's a monster. You know, I try to like play like him. He's so physical, and I watched one of his little videos on YouTube how he was just talking about how he does a workout that's best for him. So he works out by himself all the time, and that's the type of person I want to try to build myself up to be. But off the field, let me think. Who I look up to?
Yes.
Well, I have to say my mentor, Jeff Davis at Clemson. He's one of my he's a GA, but I treat him as if he's my mentor. I go talk to him all the time. He's an alumni from my high school, so that makes it even better. So we can really relate because, yeah, we can really relate because he comes from Greensboro. He grew up on Greensboro streets, you know, not streets, but he grew.
I got you. The streets of Greensboro.
Yeah, so you know. That's how we kind of connect like that. So I kind of look up to him because he gives me a lot of knowledge on just life in general, how I should handle myself and how I should treat growing up to be a man. Not treat growing up to be a man, but like growing up to be a man, you got to do a whole lot of different stuff. You got to carry yourself a different way and think about things differently. So that's the process I'm going through now. So, you know, there ain't really much I can say about that.
I think he's doing a good job because you handle yourself great here. Obviously, you're doing a great job looking at, you know, your awards and accolades, and as to why you're here. It warmed my heart to hear you say Patrick Willis. As a Niner fan, I'm happy.
Really?
Someone heard me earlier talking about Ray Lewis, so I'm happy to hear that.
I feel like he's beyond that. He's like a legend. I'm trying to use somebody that's like right now, you know.
I'm thankful for that. Thank you. I appreciate that. All right, so you're already at Clemson right now. So what's the most memorable thing about college, you know, that transition already for you to college?
Living with people you've never met before, that you've never lived with before. That'd probably be, I'll probably never forget that, honestly. Just, yeah, like living with, you know, it's different.
It's different, something to get used to.
It's different. You got to get used to it. That's all I'm saying about that.
All right, well, thank you so much, Chris, and good luck tonight.
Thank you.